Welcome back to our virtual Dominion Energy Jazz Cafe. It is almost time to start something new here at the VMFA. And ahead of that, we are still programming jazz for you. On stage with me tonight, we have the Kelli Strawbridge Trio with an evening of Hard Bop classics. That's right. Y'all better buckle up. Here we go, gentlemen.
Hello out there in live streaming land. It's Kelli Strawbridge Trio. I'm joined by my friends, Randall Pharr on the bass. Rumblin' Randall is what they call him. And Ayinde Williams on piano. I've known Ayinde since he was 12 or 13 or something like that. And he still lets me play with him. So that's a big deal. That's a big deal. So anyways, that song was Moment's Notice by the legendary John Coltrane. This next song we're gonna do is called Yugetsu by Cedar Walton. Thank you. Pleasant jazz. Once again, Kelli Strawbridge Trio. The next song is a tribute, if you will, to one of my favorite trumpet players. I mean, he wrote the song, so it's really tribute. He already wrote it. But Blues for Dwayne by Freddie Hubbard is one of my favorite songs, period, by one of my favorite trumpet players, so I wanted to play that for everyone today. Blues for Dwayne.
Kelli. Gentlemen. Told y'all to buckle up. If you don't know anything about jazz, if you don't know anything about smooth, if you don't know anything about warm summer nights and cool spring mornings, you've learned it tonight. Kelli, let's have a conversation about some music and get right back to the show.
Yes, sir.
Right over here. Kelli, thank you for set one. That was incredible, and I'm looking forward to what you've got in store for set two. We're experiencing the music, but I want to learn a little bit more about who you are tonight. Before we get into our conversation, would you take a moment to tell us something about yourself in your own words?
I was thinking about this, and I guess I'm a little bit of a wild card sometimes. I think that's the thing with me, because I love music, and I will take it in various forms. You know, I'll take it in, I like to play drums, but I also like to lead bands. I like to play piano. I like to, you know, I like to do all kinds of things. I like to play guitar. I like to play bass. I like to do all that stuff. Wow. So I'm kind of a wild card sometimes, you know, and like, I think that, you know, if anyone is trying to figure me out, which I don't know if they are, but if anyone is, I could see why they might have a problem or whatever. Because sometimes I could just be a little bit all over the place. You know, I'm a little ADD in how I enjoy music and how I take it in and stuff. So I guess I could say I'm a little bit of a wild card here and there.
There's nothing wrong with that. I do the jazz show. We're on it right now, but I do others as well. And often I hear here and there. That it's diversity is not what I want to say. It's accessibility is not what I want to say. It's I don't know, dipping your feet into as many things as you can. What versatility.
Versatility.
That's what I want to say.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
That versatility, I think, is an important part that I think some of us lose out on. It's great to master something, and you clearly have, but being open to new things is also great. With that in mind, Kelli, how did you get into music? What really inspired you to take this path?
Okay, so the option was to get into band, when I was in middle school. So I started with trumpet. And that's how I got to learn how to read, and I was able to read and get some chops a little bit, musical chops. And then around 8th grade, I switched up to drums. I was like, let's just try out the drums. It seems to be the coolest instrument. And all the cooler guys are up there where the drums are. So let's try to get up there. And, I just got hooked on it. Prince became a big part of my life. I loved Michael Jackson and all that stuff, but then I became a huge Prince fan, and then that made me really start going into music heavy, just reading about it, trying to understand it, and then Al Green, his like greatest hits. And then I would say probably around 95, 96, around the time that the Fender Rhodes started really coming back into music.
Right.
That's when I think I really started getting hooked. I was Michelle and Digio Cello, Peace Beyond Passion, right. Brown Sugar, right. D'Angelo, Maxwell, all the classic 96 neo soul records really started like focusing me on production, my mind on the production of the records, and that's kind of where it really kicked in for me. So after that, I was like, I just want to do music. I don't know how, or whatever, but eventually we found my way to VCU, and I auditioned in the jazz program, and I got in, and through Doug Richards, and that's that. I mean, all of that was just all of the gateway, coming to Richmond, big deal,
Talk to me about the experience of studying your craft. I'm talking about music in particular. In Richmond, we turn out or boast many great musicians. I talk about that a lot on this series. Mm-hmm. What was it like for you studying in this environment?
It was pretty. It was a pretty overwhelming experience initially because, it becomes. You see that everyone is more obsessed with like there's an obsession with music with a lot of the people that you end up seeing play live and stuff around Richmond, and you feel like as a kid you're like, man, how do I get that? You know, how do I get that like drive or that the feel or the passion or the whatever? It's like you just want to soak it all up. So honestly, I would just hang out with all of the great musicians that were around me, and they were all younger. We were all younger at the time, but you know, guys like Mark Ingram and especially Mark Ingram. I mean, he was like my best friend around that time, and we went to gigs all over the place, and my other friend Tim Turner, we would all sit around, we would listen to it, you know, we would just be engrossed by stuff. Just like when stuff would come out, we would all get together and listen to it. If there would be a record, this was happening especially in the early 2000s, you know, if there was something that came out like Dave Douglas, The Infinite or something like that, people would just, all of a sudden you felt like a whole group of everyone had already listened to it, and they already knew what was happening, and it's like, I need to find out what's happening, you know. Yeah. So it's like an obsession. It was like a drive to try to understand, to get it in my system, and I guess that's just part of just being young, you know, where you just want to be part of something, you know what I mean? And I think that along with just being in school, I mean, it was very overwhelming, but it was by the second year I started to, I was practicing a lot. Practicing drums a lot. I had Howard Curtis as a drum teacher, who's an amazing genius, who's now teaching in Austria. Oh, wow. Is a professor in Austria or whatever now. So he's obviously the man. So I really just immersed myself with all the musicians as much as possible. You know, playing all the wrong things. You know, at the wrong time for years, you know, and just trying to learn, you know, and that started, you know, really in for real about 20 years ago, and it's still an obsession for me, you know.
That experience you have folding in with your peers and with your mentors is invaluable. I think that's how we hone our craft. That's how we get there, I think. You could have picked anything at all. Kelli, what folded you into jazz?
Again, I think it was the passion to understand, you know, what the music was, what was happening, because there's something about jazz that it's very intellectual, but there is also such an emotional part of it that you want to, again, it's like, how do I get some of that? You know, how can I be able to express myself emotionally, but it's also intellectually something that could be stimulating as well. You know, there's a feel to it, but there's also a lot of taste. There's a lot of it really just taste. It's about really knowing. It's just like any other music. You know, Prince said that funk is like about options. You know, it's about knowing what to play, when to play it, and things like that. Jazz is also like that in a certain way, but it's just more intense, and it is a higher intellectual, if you will, type of thought. So I think that and like listening to Freddie Hubbard, listening to McCoy Tyner, listening to Coltrane, listening to Dave Douglas, listening to Clarence Penn, listening to Nate Smith, listening to the way that they make their decisions, the way that they tune their drums. You know, it's knowing the taste, knowing where and when to do things. All of those things, I think, is just I think it's one of the best parts of playing music, because it can help shape you in life and and in music. You know, you could be able to figure out things. Yeah, it's a collaboration, but you're also figuring out how to approach this. You know, right. I didn't understand when Miles Davis would say, you know, you talk to your mom like that, or you talk to your lady like that, and I'm like, Oh, I see. You're presenting yourself. It's a representation of yourself, and again, I'm always trying to refine that.
That's a life lesson.
Yeah.
Now, we talked about that collaboration. I had a chance to talk to you a little bit before about these guys here with you tonight.
Right.
And I know you play together. I know that tonight you did not have a chance to get ready, and still we're here enjoying. We've been on this improvisation journey. Really, I think along the way, but Plunky really drove it home for us when I got to talk to him. And tonight we're witnessing some of that today. I wanna move off of jazz in a little bit for just a moment, but tell me a little bit more about your collaboration with these gentlemen.
Yeah, I mean, excuse me, Ayinde and Randall. I think we have similar tastes in music, and I think that we just have a really good chemistry. We've just, when you kind of know it when you start playing with someone, you just play through a couple songs, and at least the first one, there's just something there that goes, okay, we're informed by this. You could feel like the information. It's like, okay, we're familiar about this record. We're familiar with the Ugetsu and all those things. Well, I brought those up over the weeks, and I said, Ugetsu, Bolivia, I'm gonna just throw these things out there. And Ayinde he's inquisitive, he's curious. He doesn't bring music on the stand because he learns it at home. Yeah. So he really is like an amazing, instrumental part of it. Could be a great instrumental part to anyone's group. And Randall is, again, he's a vet, for real. Like, Randall's played with everyone and anybody. He's if you have him in your band and you're playing drums, and you tell people that Randall's in the band, people are gonna come see that band. And it's because Randall's there. Randall is so solid. Again, his taste, his knowledge, and his musicality is like, I think it's untouched, to me.
Above par, for sure. I mean, we're witnessing it with you tonight. I don't think anybody can disagree. I do want to do something uncharacteristic. We've been, the reason we did episode 1 was that community that communicates with me asked me for lessons on something. Particularly, they wanted to learn about Black art. And so I said, okay, and we started talking about jazz. It is not a coincidence. I already knew, of course, that we are launching into a very impactful lower level special exhibition called The Dirty South. The title is longer. Audience at home, you can learn about that on our website, and I encourage you to. What to you, Kelli, does the Dirty South mean? And then more poignantly, what is hip hop to you?
I mean, the Dirty South to me, I think about the food. Number one. I think about the culture. I think about the fact that whenever I go down there, there's always someone that's really familiar with the history of the South and familiar especially with music, art, that kind of thing. I always feel that whenever I go to the South. Especially going to Atlanta or going to New Orleans, you just get that. It's just a culture. It's a culture feel that I enjoy, and it's the same thing with hip hop. Hip hop is like so pure to me still. The expression of it, the way it sounds, the way it's mixed. There's a real. The element of hip hop is always that it's only a couple degrees away from like the heart for real. Yeah. That's my opinion. So that's always how I feel about hip hop. I'm not always the connoisseur when it comes to that, but the hip hop that I'm always attracted to is the more raw hip hop, some of the underground stuff, I just love the heart on your sleeve hip hop. That's what I like.
I agree with you that rawness to it. I think we see in a lot of different art forms that exist for many of the same reasons that hip hop exists. What, for the audience member at home, and I ask this because I learned surprisingly that many people have never even heard the term Dirty South.
Okay.
Shocks me.
Wow.
But people have never even heard anyone say that.
Yeah.
And so that makes me believe that somebody at home on the other side of this camera doesn't know what Dirty South is, sure, but maybe they don't even know what hip hop culture is.
Right.
How can you explain that to them?
Well, again, I would say that hip hop culture really is truly just like jazz. It's an American art form. It could be a Black American art form if you want. And that's what is informed. That's what is informed by. Again, if the history isn't on its sleeve, then I think the emotion is. You know what I mean? Because that's the thing. Like with jazz, the history is always there. It's always, remember Coltrane, remember this, make sure that you're hitting this and you're da-da-da. And hip hop, it's like there's still an element about, where the individual is. Like, finding the individual in the music and the sound. And I think that if I would tell anyone, I would say hip hop culture, is just like any other culture, but it's just individual. And it's very, I think if you have to listen to the words, literally listen to the words and the music, and you're actually going to feel a real story. So that's what I would say hip hop culture is. I think that's where the real stories are, honestly, at this point.
I agree with you, and I'm very excited that we're getting to tell some of that story over the next few months here with sight and with sound. This program being in no small way a part of that. I have a lot of things to say about a lot of things, Kelli, but I don't know them all, and so I'm really grateful for someone like you here tonight to help me introduce this exhibition, these thoughts, and what we're hoping to do to connect the past, the present, and the future through this exhibition and through those to come. So thank you, Kelli, for that.
Oh, yeah, man.
And thank you for your music.
Hey, look, our pleasure. We were so happy to do this.
Well, I can't wait for the next one. We're certainly not going to end with you. We're not going to end with the next, and we're definitely going to have you back. But I've rambled enough, and I think the crowd at home is looking forward to that set number 2 of music, if you're ready.
Let's do it.
Here we go.
All right.
Passion Dance by McCoy Tyner. We are the Kelli Strawbridge Trio. Randall Pharr on bass. Ayinde Williams on piano. My name is Kelli Strawbridge. Thank you so much for joining us. For the late, great McCoy Tyner, of course. Next song we're going to play by another incredible jazz musician that is still with us, Mr. Wayne Shorter. This song is called One by One, and I was introduced to this song via compilation that I found that just had Art Blakey and the Jazz Messengers and printed. It was like printed on there. It was really, really suspect-looking kind of product, and the first song was One by One on it, and with Wynton Marsalis, and that was the first time I heard that song, and I want to play that for everyone today. One by One. Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much, everyone, for listening, checking us out. There will be more gigs announced soon with this trio, so just make sure you stay tuned to my Instagram at Kelli Strawbridge 81. All right. So we got one more song, and we can't get out of here without doing some healthy rhythm changes. It's good for the soul. Some rhythm-a-ning, Theonis Monk, and we're out of here. Thank you guys so much for checking us out. Kelli Strawbridge Trio, Randall Pharr on bass, Ayinde Williams on piano. Thank you.
I wasn't ready for it. I would tell you all, I wasn't ready for it. Sit in my little orange chair and you just start playing. Woo! What an evening, what an evening, what an evening. Welcome to spring. Summer's coming soon. And this city is still without a lack of art, creativity, and talent. Thank you so much, gentlemen, tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you, B.J. Brown, Richmond Jazz Society. Thank you, Dominion Energy, keeping this going with us. Remember Tommy Productions, thank you for capturing it, and Chris up there in the booth. Can't forget about him. Those of you on the other side of this camera in some magical way I don't yet understand, thank you for loving with us. Thank you for listening to us, and thank you for learning from us. In Richmond, Virginia, from the Virginia Museum of Fine Arts on the Leslie Cheek Theater stage, this has been our virtual Dominion Energy Jazz Cafe. I'm Robert Fennard. Good night.